Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is MMA AM's half morning show, half mixed martial arts show, pretty much all bullshit. I'm LK from Kocosports.net, and I'm joined today by Blake from the Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. Blake, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you for having me, my man. Just enjoying my evening. How's everything going with you?
I'm living the absolute. It does not get better than this. We're talking UFC 208. Talk a little bit about the Fight Night 104 event. But before we do, is there ways how the Internet Infantry listening now can find you if they enjoy you on tonight's show and want to listen to more?
Yeah, man. You can follow the show. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. Search for us everywhere. Search for us in your closet. We're everywhere. Underneath your bed. We're taking over. Just go ahead and follow us. Click like. Click subscribe. We're on iTunes and Stitcher as well. If you're riding in your car, going to work, you're in the bathroom at work, who gives a fuck? We're everywhere, my man.
So I'm in the process of, it's been on YouTube now for fucking God knows how long, like half a decade. And I want to put it on iTunes. I know you have to have an RSS feed and stuff like that, but how exactly did you put yours up? Was it already, because I think I saw one of your videos was also on YouTube. How did you take that and convert that into an actual RSS feed?
So with my show, I set up my RSS feed through Podcast Garden. So basically what I did is that's how I originally started. I started an account on Podcast Garden. Paid $2.99 a month. I uploaded maybe about 4 or 5 episodes, or maybe it was 3 episodes then. And then, it gives me my little RSS feed code, and then I plug that into Stitcher and iTunes. It's for the video stuff. It's such a process, man, because I'll record it, I'll put it on Facebook, I'll put it on YouTube, and then I'll extract the audio off of it, and then I'll add it to my Podcast Garden account, and then it'll just upload. So really I focus on the visual first, because I like to make pretend I'm very animated, and I drink and smoke and shit. So it adds that little bit more element. But yeah, that's how I do my thing, man. It's no secrets with me, man.
Awesome. I just checked because I was thinking, how the fuck because I didn't want, I know Podbean charges, because we do an hour a day. Well, we do an hour of MMA every day, an hour, sometimes 2 hours of wrestling every day. So that's 3 hours. And I know lots of content is okay, you can have it, but you can only have a certain amount of bandwidth. And it's I want unlimited bandwidth. I guess with Podcast Garden, how much is sorry about this is very off topic.
No,
you guys are expecting it.
I actually did a podcast with who the guy was supposed to be on tonight, Kyle Steele from Loudmouth, and we did a whole thing. Maybe the first 40 minutes was all focused on breaking down podcasts and how we do our thing. So again, it's no secrets. I have no secrets, man. I paid $3.99 a month, and I could upload all the content I want. The only unfortunate thing I think with Podcast Garden is everything is, you got to do it manually. It's not like some places where you can upload it and then it'll upload it for you on iTunes and Stitcher and that. You got to upload it yourself. You got to take your RSS feed. You got to make a profile on Stitcher, submit it to iTunes. But I mean, if you're a pretty hands-on person, I don't know you personally, but I imagine, you got a podcast, most people are, and you don't have, in some cases, $50 a month to spend, like I didn't when I first started it. This is the best way and most efficient way to do it if you're hands-on and doing everything yourself.
Yeah, I've no issue uploading it, because I've done Podbean before in the past, where you obviously record and then you just YouTube to MP3 that. But I was thinking, okay, so is Podcast Gardens. Let me write that down quick. So Podcast Garden, and is it $3.99 a month? And is that unlimited? Is that unlimited?
Yeah, man. So if you don't join it, you can only upload one. It can be as long as you want or as short as you want. You can only make one upload a month. But when you pay the $3.99, again, I do so many podcasts, man. I'm doing 3 or 4 a week. Yeah, do the math there. I'm, saving a lot of time, and it's for very little money,
Yeah, because I wanted to get on audio, because it's been video for so long, but no, because we do 7 wrestling, 7 MMA, well, sometimes 6. So that does equal 14. There'll be enough on there. There'll be enough room on there. But anyway, we're actually here to talk about some UFC 208. What's your initial thoughts on the actual pay-per-view event?
I'm pretty. Okay, so I'm not gonna make pretend like this is the greatest card of all time, but I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I love to give UFC benefit of the doubt. This reminds me just like of old school, like 2000, I'd say 15, 14 card where maybe we're not spoiled like stacked to bottom, but there's some nice cards. There's some nice fights on the card, man. I'm happy to see it. I'm excited to see it. And I'm even more excited. I always watch fights with biases if I know fighters. I've interviewed Brunson. I've met Holly Holm, her wrestling coach. I've interviewed him. So I like to watch people I fucking know. You know what I'm saying? And
So
I'm pretty excited to watch this card.
The emotional attachment because you actually know them, kind of.
Exactly, yeah. And my girlfriend's from Albuquerque, so we get to go down there every year. And so she's really digging the card. She likes Connor and Ronda. So we're gonna go do like a little Valentine's date and then check out the card after. That, to me, that's a romantic night. That's my Netflix and chill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're lucky there because I know this. If the Fight Pass starts at 11:30 p.m. my time, and then the actual pay-per-view event itself doesn't start till about 3 a.m. So thankfully, I'll be in here. My girlfriend will be upstairs, thankfully. But what I like about it is, during the day, it's like go to work and be the best friend, the boyfriend, the son, the worker, whatever it is you got to be. And then at night, I get to come out here. I get to watch some mixed martial arts, get to watch some pro wrestling, and I get to talk about it for several hours. It's just brilliant. I may not have sleep, but you can sleep when you die. That's the way I look at it.
That's the way I love that. I love that shit, man. Yeah, that's what I say every time. I'm up till 3 o'clock. I gotta wake up at 6:15. I have a stepdaughter, so it's just like, well, fuck it. There's sometimes I get a weekend day, sometimes I don't, but I'll sleep later on, man. I don't need it. I'm young.
But out of all the fights, we'll start with just the main. We'll do the main card, and then we'll maybe, if we have time, do the prelims and the early prelims. So out of the main card, what match? Sorry, just did a wrestling show. What fight are you most excited for?
Man, I'm most excited for the Anderson fight, man. I love Anderson Silva. I think anybody does, and I think just not the anticipation that he's just the greatest of all time, and you love to see him fight. It's the anticipation is he gonna be the Anderson of 2012, 13, 11, 2000, like everything? Is he gonna be that Merkin Anderson Silva? Because he's shown glimpses of it in all of his fights. Like, there's not been a fight that, even if he's lost it, not besides Weidman, let's forget that. But with Daniel Cormier and Bisping, he hurt. Let's not forget, he hurt them both. Like, he is not a joke. Really, I mean, and then the flip side of that, Derek Brunson's an awesome guy. I just think, how focused can you be on your fight when you open up a new gym? And you got to focus some attention on other people that are not named Derek Brunson. That's what scares me about the Derek Brunson, him going into this fight. Because we saw how well it worked out with Glover Teixeira when he opened up a gym in Connecticut and he fought Phil Davis. Even though he was in Brazil, that boy lost bad. He looked horrible. So that's one of my, I'm definitely looking at that fight. And mainly to see if Anderson can come out and take advantage of all that and still be the killer Anderson, the fucking killer Anderson we knew from Pride and everything like that, man. Like the Spider himself, Yeah,
and that's obviously in the middleweight division. Do you think that the winner of that fight will be in a top 5 and potentially challenge Michael Bisping for the championship sometime down the line?
Yeah, I mean, my personal thought on the matter is if Anderson wins, they give it to him, especially if he wins by spinning kick or flying knee or some sort of devastating fashion in the first round and a half. Oh, UFC's all over it. They're foaming at the mouth for somebody to get this, namely Anderson, to get this win. If Derek Brunson wins, he's right back in, fighting, maybe a Gay Guard or, whoever the fuck, if Vitor wins his next. He's fighting somebody, with some name value. Maybe it's 1 or 2 fights away from the title. Maybe 1 fight away, It puts him right back in. So this could have some potential implications for both guys, depending on who wins, and I think how they win. That's usually the most important thing with this new UFC regime,
Now the new UFC regime, I call it the pro wrestling regime. They do it, they literally book it like it's a wrestling event. Like the rankings kind of don't mean shit anymore, which really upsets me because the strange thing is when I go on the wrestling shows, I'm like, there needs to be a ranking system. You can't make it feel like a sport and be the only sport that doesn't have a ranking. There needs to be a ranking system or some kind of fucking system. Now UFC's trying to do the wrestling tactic of just doing, big name versus big name, and big name versus not a big name, to try and make that not a big name, and the big name a title contender. It's like, if just say Derek Brunson wins this fight, he moves up to maybe number 4. He won't get a title fight yet. But if Silva wins, he'll move up to probably 4, 3, and he'll get a title fight because of his name value, because of the brand Anderson Silva itself.
It's almost a no-win for Derek Brunson if you think about it, because he wins. They say you beat the shadow of Anderson Silva. He loses. He goes straight the fuck back down, and now has to fight his way through number 11, number 10. I don't even know who the fuck. Maybe he fights Tal Slaters again or some shit. I don't fucking know. But like, he has to go fight some lower tier guys. So it's really like a no-win situation if you're Derek Brunson. You take this fight maybe because you need the money, or because you maybe want to get that name under your belt and hope 5 years from now people look back and say, oh yeah, remember Derek Brunson beat Anderson Silva? But this isn't a immediate rewards type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if he does beat him, the story will be Silva lost, not Brunson won. That poor boy.
That's it.
But the middleweight division's got my boy Uriah Hall in. I absolutely adore Uriah Hall. Ever since that spin kick in The Ultimate Fighter back in, I think it was 2011 or 12 or whenever it was, the guy, I absolutely adore him. And I'm just pissed off he's kind of still just in, the lower echelons of the top 15. It's really pissing me off. I'm like, come on, make that jump. Make it. I'm saying, come on. What's your thoughts on Uriah Hall?
I think he's a great martial artist. I've talked to Adam Sella, who he knocked out with that kick. I've had him on my show. He didn't have very nice things to say about Uriah Hall, but I guess this isn't a sport where it isn't about fucking making friends. It's about, as you can be. I think he's a great martial artist, though. I take nothing away from Uriah Hall. I don't consider the Musasi fight, the first one, a fluke. Like, that's fucking skill. You just to throw that move, like, not everybody has the knees to do that, the coordination to do that, the talent to do a spinning back kick like that and land it exactly where he did. That boy knows what he's doing. If we're just talking about Uriah Hall, he's got a long way. I think the mental thing is his biggest enemy. John Jones is John Jones' biggest enemy. Uriah Hall's mental game is Uriah Hall's biggest enemy type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like the poor boy. I just wish he, actually won a fight. But the match I'm looking forward to is Holly Holm versus Jermaine Durandame for the... Right, we'll talk about this. So what is your thoughts on the women adding a featherweight division? The 145 pound instead of making a 125 pound division? Or because I know lots of people are like bashing and crashing about the fact that there's a women's featherweight title. It was created for Cyborg, but in the end of the day, she's suspended, so it's not much use.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on the featherweight title?
They need to either put the dick in or take it out. Like, that's what the way it needs to be. Like, they're either going to go in, you're going to sign Megan Anderson, you're going to sign Charmaine Tweed, you're going to sign all these Invicta girls 145, or don't make a division. Like, start moving people up. Like, maybe they should have had a 145 another fight, like on the undercard. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these girls are 135, they should not be 135. It's not a good look. And some of the girls 135 should be 125. Like, this 135, the business that was solely made for Ronda, obviously, we all know. But yeah, they need to either shit or get off the pot with this, because what they're gonna do, like, now they have no 145ers after these two. These two are just gonna keep fighting until the end of fucking UFC's reign. Like, what's gonna happen? We don't know.
Well, until Cyborg comes back anyway. So, what they could do is say the winner of this gets in 3 to 4 months tweet, and then hopefully, the suspension isn't that long for Cyborg. Maybe then do another rematch with Holm and Durandame, praying that it's a good fight. And then maybe Durandame or the other one wins, so they're entitled to their rematch. And maybe Megan Anderson gets involved somehow. They'll probably just spread it out until Cyborg comes. But like you said, I hope they go to Invicta and loads of, women promotions. But what I think they might do is make this. And again, this is another way how they're like pro wrestling. It's just pro wrestling is all about, this is history. You're watching history. This pay-per-view card is come watch history at the Barclays Center because it's the first ever women's featherweight title. Not the fact it's Holly Holm versus Duranda May is not the point. The point is the belt. The belt is the draw, not the women, which is a shame. But they need to add, I reckon they're going to do in 2 months' time a 125 division. I really do think they're going to add that as well.
They have to. They have to, man. I thought they were going to keep it after the Joanne Calderwood and who did she fight? Was it Marion Renault?
Maybe.
Right? I think she fought. They had a 125 fight, and if it wasn't Marion Renault, it was that other girl that lost to Joanna and Jacek. What's her name? Not Marion. God damn it, man. She's from Canada, I think. She fought her on the Holly Holm Ronda card. I can't think of her name.
When was the fight? I'll have a quick look on the Fight Pass gimmick because I got it on my phone. When was the fight?
It was June.
What card though?
Shit, I don't even remember. I know it happened.
Who's the fighter who she lost or won against?
It was Joanne Calderwood beat her. If you just look up Joanne Calderwood's.
Yeah, I got the app right here. It should load up. What we got?
There we go. It was in June. It was like summertime. It wasn't July. It was June for sure. Like June 19th, if I had to remember it correctly. And she did. That fight was 125 for sure. Because I remember they're making a big fucking deal about it.
Typing in and nothing's coming up on the Fight Pass. You stupid fucking app. No, nothing's coming up.
They don't love JoJo Calderwood.
No, maybe they don't even have her on the account because I know that's what annoys me. Like when I watch like some of the other promotions on there, they don't have the bios for them, and it's really difficult when you take notes. It's really fucking annoying. Like I love Fight Pass where they just have the bio. Like right now on UFC.com with the 208 preview, they've got every match. I keep calling it a match. I'm sorry, it's wrestling mode. Stop fucking calling it a match. But it's got everyone next to them, all their leg reach, their weight, their height. The submission game, their knockout game, their record, their ranking. And it's really helpful, but the app, poor. But what can they do about it? It's an example here in the early prelims.
Valerie Letourneau, I think it was. It was either Valerie Letourneau or Marion Renault. And I want to say it was Valerie Letourneau. And she fought her at 125. They fought at 125. And everybody was like, oh, they both look really good. JoJo finally looks like she's not a small bantamweight. And I think looks like a healthy weight because she cut a lot of weight to get to 115. I think that was a fight. And JoJo won by TKO in the second round. Kicked her in the titty and shit. I remember that fight because Marion Renault was like trying to fix her brassiere, whatever the fuck they call it. But yeah, so they've had a 125. So I definitely think they need to just hop all over that. If they're going to start making all these women divisions, make a 125 too. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and then they could do another history-making fight. And then we got an interesting one. I got ranked number 3 Glover. Oh, dude, I fucking butchered these poor bastards' names. Literally, you should see me when I have to cover Mexican or Japanese wrestling. It's some of the funniest shit you've ever heard in your life. So, Glover Teixeira versus Jared Cannonier. And I love his nickname, the Killer Gorilla. Dude, there's no way that guy.
The Killer Gorilla.
That's so bad. I feel bad saying that out loud. And that is his legit nickname, unless UFC's been hacked. Like, damn.
Unless he changed it. But yeah, no. I like Glover Teixeira for the win. And again, I'm Latino, so I'm a little bit easier with these with the Brazil names and Mexican names. You ever need help, you give me a call. My grandma's Mexican. We figure it out. But yeah, man, I think this is just like a fight for Glover to be like, hey, Glover, no, you haven't fought, and I know you haven't done what I know you just came off a badass loss to Rumble and here's a fight. Like, please stay with us. Please keep signing with us. Please keep fighting. Let's keep you busy, man.
I think it'll be an okay fight though, because I think, like you said, this is a cupcake. This is a cupcake for Glover to get the win. But poor Killer Gorilla, I reckon he's going to lose this one, and then maybe he might not be in the top 15 after this.
No, I mean, it's not like they have. I mean, if they wanted to, they could have made like Misha Serkinov versus Glover Teixeira. You know what I'm saying? That'd have been a harder test for Glover. It's not about a harder test for Glover. It's about, let's give Glover somebody. Granted, this guy's had like 2 fights in the UFC still, but like we don't even know his name. Like we really don't know too much about this dude. Like he's not the dude. But on the other hand, I mean, if you're feeling frisky with your money and trying to bet, I mean, my boy Volkan Ozdemir beat OSP last week, so fucking shit can happen in the octagon. Like that, you know, you can never discount somebody. But the angle I think they're trying to make is, hey Glover, hey, here you go, man. Like we'll look this way, we'll give you this.
Yeah, I think that too. And for the first time, I'm actually gonna, because believe it or not, okay, I've been pro wrestling fan since like 5 years old. So since about 2001, so that's a decade and a half. I've been a pro wrestling fan. But because before, where I was with Kocosports, it was like, okay, you can just do the YouTube. I was like, okay, cool. You know, stick to your pro wrestling. So okay, cool. So I did my pro wrestling daily, and then it was, oh, okay, would you like to come work for the site? You know, be a full part of the team. I was like, why the fuck not? And it was like, but this is a combat sports site, not just a pro wrestling site. So like, okay, so you want me to get an MMA? Kind of. I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just hinting at that you should. So I was like, okay, cool. And like in my life, I think I watched UFC 200 with Brock. I watched the CM Punk fight. I watched The Ultimate Fighter with Uriah Hall. And literally, it's only been since literally January I've got into it. Like I bought Fight Pass and just boom, go ahead. And it's beginning like to the point where I'm pissed off I didn't get into mixed martial arts a lot sooner. Like it's really aggravating me. And what I'm going to do for the first time is because Paddy Power, an English betting service, has all the fights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put £15 in my bank in the like the wallet, and then I'm going to bet £1 on every single fight. Now I do that because if I do this for every fight night, if I lose it, who really gives it? If I lose all 15 fights, it's just £15. You know?
Right? Yeah.
In England, you don't pay for the pay-per-view because it's free on BT Sport.
Sport, yeah.
So I don't really get a loss because I don't pay for the sport package. So I'm not really at a loss either way. So I got like a quarter of price pay-per-view. But we'll go top 5. So because I have you on, and then I think I have Carl. No, I don't have Carl on tomorrow. I have the MMAtakeover.com. I forgot his name. I do apologize. I've only had one podcast from the
Eric.
guy. Eric.
You talking about Eric Cole?
Yeah.
Good guy, man. I like him.
He's amazing. I'm having him back on tomorrow, and then on Friday I think I might have Carl on, and then it's the pay-per-view. So while you're on, and I could kind of have a betting game to see what everyone else puts, I will start, and then this way everyone can know who the fights are, etc. If they don't really know. So Home Durandame, who would you bet on? Now I'm getting your opinion, and I'm going to get all 3 of yours opinions, and I'm going to combine them and then place my bet. Now, remember, this isn't on, okay, who you personally want to win. This is who you think will win and who you would put your money on. And then people, internet infantry listening, could be like, okay, cool, I might put that bet on too.
Right, yeah.
So we'll start with the main event. Holly Holm, Durandame, for the, what we got here, for obviously the women's featherweight title. Who are you going for in that one?
I'm going for Holly. I was not going for Holly at first. You know, I was kind of feeding into everybody's bullshit about, you know, Durandame this and Holly Holm 2 losses that. I get it. But I'm leaning toward Holly, man. I you know, just based on a lot of things without getting too balls deep into it, man. I think they've worked on a lot of stuff. This isn't a wrestling match. This isn't anything she has to worry about as far as going to the ground. And yeah, man, I'm definitely leaning with Holly for an exorbitant amount of reasons. She can definitely lose this fight, but I'm leaning with Holly with this one, man. She always rises up to these big occasions when the pressure's on, and you know, she's got a, you know, reputation for doing it. You don't become boxing champion, kickboxing champion, MMA champion if you don't have that mindset.
Yeah, so I got written home down. What about Silva versus your boy Bronson?
I got Silva.
You reckon? How long do you reckon that fight will go? I think, yeah. How old is Silva now? Because here it doesn't have his age. He must be rocking on his late 30s at least.
41.
41.
41.
How old's Brunson? Well, yeah. Looking at his record, 33 for 8. He must be getting on. You know, Brunson's 16-4.
He's a little bit older than me. I'm 28. I think if I remember, he's between like 29, 31-ish, somewhere in the he might be like 33, but I think like I want to say safely, if I had to put money on this, I think it's like 31, 32.
So maybe he's in his prime, but that's your prime, isn't it? 28 to 32, 33, that's your prime. You ain't going to get better than that. That's the prime of your life. So
it does depend.
Maybe. But if you got Silva, I'll write Silva down if you think Silva win, because then there'll be three people's opinions and we'll take all into consideration. And then we have Ronald Souza versus Tim Boetsch. This Boetsch isn't big in the gym. I'm looking at his picture now, and he looks like he likes to sit at home and eat some cheesecake.
But that's the thing with Tim Boetsch, right? Like he goes into all the fights looking that way. He looks like he's like the Roy Nelson of a middleweight, right? Like he goes in there, but like he does damage, like he does fucking work, right? But I think this is one of those fights that, again, they're keeping Jacare busy, and I think I'm going with Jacare. Like whether it's striking or whether Tim Boetsch muscles him down to the ground, Jacare's wrestling, defense, his jiu-jitsu, everything is fucking amazing about this guy. Like there's no reason if you're hanging in there with Yoel, if you're beating guys like Gegard Mousasi when Gegard was on a nice little streak, if you're just running through the division in the way that you are, there's no reason, right, that you shouldn't beat Tim Boetsch. So I'm leaning with Jacare in this one.
Okay, I got that written down. And I was watching TPF 30, which is Taichi Palace Fights. They do that on, I think it was on YouTube. It was Sheerdogs or Sheerdogs.com. And there was this guy called Van Palacio. Dude, he's so, like, he was, like, outrageously, like, you would have thought he was just some local guy who sat at a pub with, like, just cigarettes and alcohol and just this big-ass beer belly. And he came up and he was fighting and he was wobbling. And the fight actually got stopped because he got poked in the eye. And it was really quite bad, actually, but that was what it was, and that just came to mind. Where were we? Then we have, oh, God, these names again. We got the Killer Gorilla and Glover. Who have you got on that one?
I got Glover Teixeira in this one. Again, I just think this is like a UFC doing him a favor type fight. And if he, I mean, again, he can lose. It's UFC, it's MMA, it's fucking, anybody, one strike, one submission, right? But he just got mad experience for these type guys. He's kind of Kyle Kingsbury type guys, even the Ryan Bader type guys. He got answers for you, right? So I'm gonna lean with Glover Teixeira in this one.
What about Dustin Pereira versus Jim Miller? Pereira's ranked 10th and Jim Miller not ranked, but damn, he's had a lot of fights. He's had, let me have a look here. He's had 37 fights. As Mr. Miller.
Been around the block, right? But I'm leaning with Dustin Poirier on this one. He wins these fights. Like, he wins these type fights. What he doesn't win are the type fights where it's a better athlete, better just, I think, overall guy in the division. He doesn't beat those guys. Like the Cub Swansons when he was at 145, Conor McGregor, Michael Johnson, right? He goes on these streaks, and then he loses to like the top 6 guys in the division. So I think it's a fight for Dustin Poirier. I don't think they're giving him a gimme, but for sure this will be a war. But I think Dustin can pull it out.
Now, his significant strikes landed per minute was 4.81. That's pretty damn impressive. That's really, really impressive, isn't it? Like, that is incredible. Like, you got Glover with a 4.4, which is impressive. You got the Killer Gorilla with a 4.64. Anderson Silva, he's only at 3.11. Like that, I think that's really impressive. 4.81, or is that just because he's had more fights in 25 actual fights? But
no,
that's good.
I think you're onto something. He's more offensive than he is defensive. So whereas Anderson is very much as he can get aggressive, he has these blitzes where he gets aggressive, but he's very much a counter striker. He waits for you to get. You see all his knockouts. Let's name off some of the ones that they put in the fucking highlights. You got Rich Franklin, who was coming at him. He got him in a tie clinch. That's it was being defensive and then reactionary. You got Chris Lieben, who came straight at him. He fucking knocks him out. You got, Sandman Irvin, who threw the kick. Anderson caught it, again, defensive, reactionary, and then knocks him out on a counter strike. He's a great counter striker. He does it. Forrest Griffin even. Fucking the whole fight was him being defensive. So that's why, he's a very active counter puncher. I think that's why his significant strikes would be a little bit lower. Even his punching output is going to be lower. But Dustin's a guy from Louisiana, down south kid who's not afraid to fucking get out there, bite down, and bring the fight to you. So I think that's probably why we see some higher numbers in that aspect.
Now, I think this will be a first round win for Dustin.
Yeah.
I think, Miller's landed per minute is 2.64. His accuracy is not like nearly half of what Poirier is. How do you say his name? Dustin
Poirier,
you dumb Poirier.
Like French, I guess the ER becomes an A at the end, right? And then you kind of put a little on it. So Poirier.
Oh, dude, there was someone in the comments from yesterday's show with Tanaka or Tanaka. Oh, the fuck you say that guy's name? I was just, dude, names have always got me. I have nicknames like at work or my friend. Everyone has a nickname. Everyone has a nickname. I can't, like, literally, I had to write your name down at the top of the fucking page along with the podcast because I just forget names. I forget names.
It's all good, man.
Is like the co-hosts I have, like they all have different names, and when I talk to them personally, I use their names they use on air, and they're like, "Why the fuck are you still calling me that?" It's like that's what I call you. That's your nickname.
That's what I wrote down, bitch.
Oh yeah, but I hate it when like these fighters come on and they got really difficult names. It's like I might bet against you just because of your fucking like OSP. OSP. Luckily, I did one bet just to see how it all worked, and I put a 20p bet against OSP because I hate his name. I despise his name. So I just put a 20p, and I think I won about 35p.
Nice,
it meant
man.
Nothing. I'm fucking loaded. I'm want to know my victories, but dude, it was the names get me all the time. And then we go prelims.
Don't try saying his opponent's name because I had everybody like, how the fuck I just say Vulcan. I'm like, well, I didn't say it fucking right until I interviewed him. He was like, it's Ustamir, and I'm like, I'm not going to say that right until I practice that 100 times in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So these names get us all, especially in this business, long enough, my man.
I got Vulcan Ozdemir. That's what I wrote down because when the announcer said it, I just wrote Vulcan Ozdemir, and I didn't write how it's actually written. I just wrote how it was said. That's what I tend to do anyway. We'll go prelims. We have Brown versus Belal Muhammad. Who have you got on that one?
So Bilal is a good friend of mine. We've had him on the podcast. I had him when he was still in Titan FC. Like I've known the guy for a while. And then Randy Brown. I know his brother, Andre the Bull Harris, or Andre the Bull Harrison, who was the Titan FC featherweight champion. He's now with World Series. So I kind of feel affiliations to both. So this is a weird one, but I'm gonna lean with Bilal. Randy's been devastating since he's been in the UFC. He doesn't have no losses. I think he's like 2-0 or 3-0 since being in the organization. And I think they found him on what's that Dana White show? Looking for a Fight.
Oh, that's such a great show.
I love that fucking show, man.
I actually watched one of them last night. It was the one where they went demolition derbying. They went go-kart, and then at the end they went to that New England fight. That was really good. I wish they made one of them every week or whenever. I'm just pissed off that they don't make more.
They should. Last year they were on like a nice little streak where it was like almost like one a month. It was like from like I think maybe like February and March. They had like one a month up until June, which was fucking. I love it. I love fucking Matt Serra. When Nick the Two was on there, whatever controversy they had, like him and Daniel, they all had fucking great dynamic. So if you go back and watch the shows, I think they found Randy. I was like episode 2 or 3 or something like that, or maybe even 1. No, I think it was like 2 because they found Sage on 1. It was in Houston, so it's when they went to go find Mickey Gall. I think they found Randy. So check that episode right there. I think part 2. But anyways, regardless of when the fuck they found him, I think Bilal can take this. I think it's going to be a war. I think it'll be like a decision or a split decision just because Randy got a lot of fight in him too.
Okay. Then we have, oh God, he looks like a scary motherfucker. Wilson Reyes versus Ulka Sasaki. So just looking at the pictures, okay, I'm literally just looking at the pictures of these fighters. If this wasn't mixed martial arts, anything can happen. I would think that Rice would beat the utter piss out of Sasaki. But with that being said, Sasaki's got a 90-3 record. He may look like that, like how he looks. And I'm not being discriminating or anything. I'm just saying he doesn't look like, a mean, tough guy. But my God, he mustn't be that bad if it's 19-3. That's a damn good record.
Yeah, but it all depends. Like, who the fuck is that guy fought? Like, I've probably seen him fight, but Wilson Hayes, man, like, just kind of a vet. What is this? This is like in the lower weight class, right? This is what, 135? What was this?
125.
125, yeah. So 125. So Wilson's been in there. Like, he's one of those guys who kind of goes up and down. I like watching Wilson Hayes. I have an affinity for watching him and the way he moves because he's very good, man. I'm gonna lean with him with this fight. But again, he's so up and down, man. Other dude was a little Asian dude, a little Japanese dude. Is that who that is?
Japanese, yeah.
So he might could take it, but yeah, I'm gonna go Wilson Hayes. I like watching Wilson Hayes fight.
Okay, I'm excited for that one. Then we got Nick Lentz versus Islam Makhachev.
Man, so Nick Lentz is again one of those guys who's kind of up and down, and on a given day, motherfucker could like tear through somebody. But these Dagestani guys, man, like I'm gonna go with Islam, and he might not be Dagestani, but I think he is.
Russian. He's Russian.
He's for sure Russian. Okay,
yeah.
So yeah, these Russian cats, man, like I feel so bad when people have to fight them, right? Because they don't get no fuck. They're all hopped up on vodka and shit. So I'm going to go with Makhachev on this one. Again, I could be totally wrong, but these guys just vicious on a different level, man.
I think it's going to be brutal then. Then we have Ian McCall. I like him. He's got nice. He Uncle Creepy is his nickname. I like that.
Uncle Creepy.
Versus
The
Jared Brooks, the Monkey God. He doesn't even have a picture, the poor boy. That's in 125 again.
He's a late replacement. So Monkey God's a late replacement for, I think, Neil Seary. And I think Monkey God's going to do, like, before this week, obviously you do a lot of research and I listen to a lot of podcasts. And so you usually don't have these guys on until like the week of or 2 weeks of. I heard, who was it? What's Monkey God's name? Jared, what's his name? Jared Brooks. That's it. So I heard him on whose podcast? Who was he on? Somebody's podcast, and he had me dying, man. Like, this kid has character. He's in it to win it. He's got the spirit, and the crazy thing about Ian McCall is the dude always comes in so injured. One of his hands, he can't even make a fist. His index finger, he's had so much surgery, they've actually put like a metal rod, so it's constantly in like a hook position, his index finger. So he can never close I think it's his right hand too. He can never close his fist fully to make, his hand fully to make a fist. And so this dude actually, one of his dudes fought Ian McCall. I forget who Jared was saying it was. One of his teammates fought him. And they were like, yeah, we knew all these things about Ian, and we knew all these things going into the fight, all these injuries he has. And Ian, a guy who just, opponent pulls out, he pulls out. Opponent pulls out, he pulls out. He's been so inactive. Again, it's not his fault. I feel bad for the dude, but I think this kid Jared's coming with some fire. And people don't know him. They're sleeping on him. This kid, he's going to be that thing that if he wins this, he's that thing that 125's been looking for. Motherfucker talks shit and just comes in with a killer instinct. And I think he's going to take this, even though he's a late replacement.
So do you reckon he could be the 125's division of Ngannou?
So that would have been like John Lineker, right? Because he got that fucking knockout power. I don't know this kid. I don't know if this kid has knockout power. I don't know if he's got submission. I know this kid, he's on a nice streak. I think you get a lot more submissions with, especially the little guys. A lot of them ain't knocking each other out. This might, if I don't know how this ends, but he'll be the equivalent, I don't want to say Conor McGregor because that's a bit extreme, like a younger version of Conor, 2013-14 Conor McGregor, where he keeps telling people, "Hey, watch out for me, watch out for me," and nobody paying attention. The top guys are like, "Fuck you." He's gonna be that guy making waves. He's gonna be the guy 120 when he fights Demetrius Johnson. And I think he'll be there one day if he wins this fight. He's gonna be the guy that people are gonna be watching him, not Demetrius Johnson.
Damn, that's big praise. He's got a lot of pressure on his poor shoulders now. And then we have Marcin Tybura versus Justin Willis in what we got here. It's a heavyweight action. That's 249 and 265. Damn you, big boy. That's
big boys.
I don't know with that one.
I don't know, man.
With heavyweights, it's a lot. I think the way they should do it, minus the big names, which there isn't that many in the heavyweight division. Let's call a spade. But I think they should kind of maybe put them on a bit earlier, because the heavyweights, like, even though they have that big knockout, I find it very slow. And when you go from like really fast to really slow,
yeah, the action.
It was like, for instance, on the fight night 104 from Saturday, it was like you had that great Hill and Andrade fight, and then you went to heavyweight action, and I was like, oh, okay, I see where we're going here. A bit slow. The crowd are booing, and it was like, oh, this isn't really any good. But
the payoff is that knockout, right? Like, that's the payoff, which you didn't see in the fight before, and you knew it was going to be a war. The payoff is the crowd knows. They see these big boys. Somebody getting their block knocked off. Someone. They don't care who it is. Someone getting their block knocked off.
That's very true. Even though they're not the most exciting, you get a great ending, like the Hamilton fight, where he got punched, fell to the floor, ran up the cage like he tried to get up. And I don't like laughing because they're putting their lives on the line. But whoever was with me on Monday, I think it was Dion from SOS. But we were just cracking up about how funny it was. And I felt bad at the time, but it was amusing. But it was still fun at the same time. So who have you got on this one? This is on the UFC Fight Pass early prelims.
I don't even know neither one of these guys, man. Read me their names again.
Marcin Tybura and Justin Willis.
Is either one of them coming off a loss?
Tybura is 14 for 2, and Willis is 4 for 1.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go with Tybura, just based off of experience. I don't know. It's a heavyweight fight, so I'm sure somebody getting knocked off.
Someone's getting knocked out. Then you have Ryan LaFara versus Rowan Carneiro. That his nickname is Juseo, or whatever the fuck.
Jucal, yeah.
Jucal. How does that say Jucal? Like, oh, dude, these names really fucking drive me crazy. I might learn fucking Spanish or whatever, because it drives me.
So, Juan Carneiro, I didn't know Ryan LaFlair. So, Ryan LaFlair, obviously, I've missed it. He's moved up to middleweight, has Juan gone down to welterweight? Juan's gone down to
170.
Welterweight. Okay, yeah, he's gone down to welterweight. So, he was up there hanging out with the big boys at 185. He was playing with fire over there, but he was doing all right. So, Juan Carneiro, I love Juan Carneiro. And I've never really been a fan of Ryan LaFlair, even though everybody was like praising his stand-up and shit. Damian Maia made him look silly on the ground for 5 rounds. Juan Carneiro, if you go back and look on his record, he was in a thing called Battlegrounds. It was an 8-man tournament, and I think it was actually 170. So, okay, shouldn't be a surprise to me. And it was like Cody McKenzie was in there, all these like fucking guys who maybe used to be in UFC, not in UFC no more. Anyways, he won the Battlegrounds. It was like a one-night 8-man tournament. Beat all 3 dudes. It was like 2 of them by submission and 1 of them by decision. And that always stuck out to me. And that was like in 2014. And then he got signed shortly after that in the organization. So I'm a huge Juan Carneiro fan. I think he gets it done. I'm not going to be surprised if he kind of copies Damian Maia's game plan, gets to the ground, gets a submission.
Okay, so you got him. And then in the final fight, we have Rick Glenn versus Philip Nova.
Philip Nova. So Philip Nova and Rick Glenn. I like Rick Glenn.
Okay, Glenn?
I like Rick Glenn. I think they just. I'm just following whatever, all from memory here. I think they just re-signed him. I think he might have been there, or maybe they just signed him to UFC. But a lot of hype behind the dude. I think I remember him from like Bellator or Titan or one of these organizations outside of UFC. Kid's gangster, man. I really like him. Rick Glenn, God damn it, man. That sounds so. I want to say it was Titan for some reason. Yeah, I think it was Titan. But yeah, awesome cat. I'm going with him for the win. Any way he wants it, but this might be a decision.
Okay, so I've got all yours down, and then we'll do this for the next 2 days, and then at the pay-per-view we'll see who won and who lost, kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see. And who knows? Maybe you all have the same. Maybe you have the same. Maybe you have the same. Well, quickly, we've got a few minutes now. We can talk about the UFC Fight Night 104. We'll just quickly run down the prelims. You have Khalil Roundtree defeated Daniel Jolly, and that was a damn entertaining fight.
Man, it wasn't for me, man, because I trained alongside Daniel Jolly here in Austin, and he's a good friend of mine. And I know what he's done. I trained alongside him as while he was here in Austin. He had obviously he had an injury after the Misha Serkinov fight. And so it was nice, training alongside him, learning shit. And, really was expecting to come out and do the damn thing. And I thought I'd expect a big thing. I did an interview with him and everything. And he went down to ATT to train in Florida. So he had everything going for him right. Like, I can't think of the only thing that went for him bad was, was that dumbass takedown, man. Like, it was horrible setup. And Khalil Roundtree did what Khalil Roundtree's gonna do, gonna knock somebody out. So, kudos to him, man. But it was rough for me watching. It's like I remember watching, just like fuck. And I was at a restaurant, people were looking at me strange. I didn't give no fuck. So.
Yeah, that's a lot different. Obviously, I don't really know any of these. Well, I don't know any of these people, but it was a good knockout. I enjoy knockouts, but then at the same time, I enjoy the ground game. Like, I was watching, literally before I went on the air, I was watching some Japanese wrestling from 1988.
Okay.
And it's literally like mixed martial arts. There's if you're down for the 10 count, it's over. You can lose by knockout or submission. It was very entertaining, and I really enjoy that style of 10 to 15 minutes long, very storytelling-esque matches. So I want to be emotionally attached to one fighter. I want one fighter to win. I like wanting one fighter to lose, not just by their name, but because they're being dicks. And
right.
And there was the fight. What was the fight? It was Andrade and Hill. Like, that's my type of fight. 15 minutes, balls to the wall. They went at it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That is what it's about. That's what it's about. Two women going in there, laying it all out, balls to the wall. Well, not literally, but punching the shit out of each other for maybe a future title shot. That's what it's all about. That's what it should be. And some of these fights bore me. I don't know. Are you the same? There was one that, let me find it. There was one fight in here that I just really didn't enjoy. I don't know if you might feel the same. Where were we? I said it was a little bit boring. I think let me see it. It wasn't that one. I think it was the Skelly and Gritsmocker. I didn't really enjoy that. Were you the same?
I think I told people that was going to be maybe a rough on the eyes type decision, just because they matched up well with each other. But yeah, I think I I watched a little bit of the rounds and I fast forward, watched a little bit of the rounds, fast forward. And I think I went back to even watch that fight. Obviously I think it was on the main card of I forget. But I skimmed through the whole thing. I only watched the fights that I wanted to. And we'll touch on the ones I did watch. But yeah, it was a little rough on the eyes, my man.
Speaking of rough on the eyes, when Curtis Blade defeated Adam Milstead.
Oh man.
That should not have gone past round. That should not have gone past round one. That should not. What were they thinking of sending him out there? Silly sods.
Oh, man, and I get it. Coaches know you best, right? They're also there to protect you. But this is one of them things I think they thought he would adjust to. And it was just I saw it after the first or second takedown. I'm like, why does he keep putting his leg there? Why did he just let himself fall back? he's too big of a body, and other dude, what was his, Curtis Blades, is too big of a body for one knee to be holding up both of them. Ain't gonna happen. I don't know a fucking world where one knee can hold up that much pounds of people. And it was just, I was just like, man, if he keeps doing that, it's a matter of time before he fucks some shit up. And it came out I saw it in round one. I think the coaches thought he could readjust or not do that silly shit anymore, and he didn't. And you know, it's one of those things. It's a very touchy thing, man, because you expect your coaches to know you. You know yourself. They want to let you fight, but man, that was just fucking rough to watch. It's the reason I don't watch American football. They just injure ankles and knees, and I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. Where's my MMA at though?
Yeah, it was brutal, and I hated how they kept showing it in slow-mo and more slow-mo. It's a different angle in a slow-mo. It was like, come on, can we not watch that for just 5 minutes? I was like, when the commercial break came on, I was like, oh, thank God, I'm going to go get myself a beverage, because that was brutal. That was the first accident that I've seen. Like, that's an accident. Okay, minus the knockout from Uriah Hall a few years back. That was the first accident I saw, and it was kind of like a moment where I was like, okay, this is what I'm now into. People getting their legs fucking disoriented or whatever the fuck it was. Oh, I felt just so bad for the guy. I did, and he was on an 8-win streak in a row. Like, he was in a good little momentum boost, and then just end like that. Hope he's all right, though. What did he get? Dislocated? Was it anything happen in the news? Is his condition?
I haven't heard, man, but you know, it was probably. I mean, I've done it before in practice. Hyperextension, a major hyperextension, maybe even a blown out MCL, ACL. Like, that's some shit that takes a year and a half. You want to come back and just train. I'm not gonna say fight. Just train. Like, muscles are fucked up, dude, like that. So best of luck to that guy, man.
Yeah, what fights do you want to talk about before we go off the air now? Because we've got about 5 minutes before, because we have to go. I have to go with my other co-host to do the wrestling show.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was just sad my girlfriend, Alexa Grasso, lost. She don't know she's my girlfriend, but one day she'll know. I swear to God, man, I've been in love with her since Invicta in 2014. I was just very sad to see her lose. She did what she did. She outlanded Felice, but she was very timid. I don't know what the fuck was going on with her head during this fight, but it was kudos to Felice, man. She's okay on the eyes too. You know, I felt like they were fighting for my heart, but I wanted Alexa to win. You know,
your internet wife. Your internet. That's what we have. We have. There's this Australian wrestler, and I dubbed her my internet wife. And one of my other co-hosts as this Mexican woman wrestler, and that's his internet wife. So you have your own internet.
Internet, my mind, wherever the fuck she be. If she comes on my podcast, I'm gonna ask her to marry me. I promise.
Oh God! So just hope her boyfriend ain't with your husband, or whatever it is.
Jeez. I'll be the next punk in the ring. I don't give a fuck.
Let's see if we have any live comments, and then we'll get. Is there any more you want to talk about actually of the UFC fight before I cut you off? There's anything you want to talk about regarding the fight night? What's your thoughts on Korean Zombie and Bermudez?
Oh man, I was happy to see him win, man. I you know, I was of the mindset. I think I fed into everybody's bullshit. I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, I want Korean Zombie to win. Then I kept feeding I listened to so many podcasts. Everybody's like, Bermudez. He's got a chin issue, but Bermudez. So I was like, Bermudez. But I'm happy to see Korean Zombie get back to where he needs to be. I'm so happy to see it. And also, I want to shout out to everybody who didn't pick Vulcan to win. Obviously, you did. I was very hype on him. I said that OSP can win, but do not be surprised if Vulcan takes it. Just, OSP has trouble with these guys that know how to strike, and not just MMA strike, that are not wild, but that have good, some standard, some fundamentals. He has problems with guys like that, man.
Yeah, I literally, because when I was looking, I was like, oh, Saint Pierre or Peru. I was like, fuck you. Fuck you and your fucking long name. Fuck you. I was like, I'm betting against you because I just wanted to see if my bank details were definitely logged in, etc. And I was like, yes, the boy won. I was like, thank God. But yeah, so we got yours written down. Again, I'm excited for Holmes. I'm quite excited. This will be my first pay-per-view that I'm going to watch live. I'm going to watch the Fight Pass, the prelims, and the event on BT Sport. So I'm excited for that. Does the pay-per-views, because I never watched a full one minus the 200 one. do they feel a lot more bigger and more important than the on Fox and the Fight Nights?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, because you see, I go online, there's an ad. I go watching some TV, there's an ad. So definitely the buildup is there. It's all over Facebook, especially if there's a knockout early, like in the first 2 fights. Dustin Poirier gets a fucking knockout. They're going to post to everyone on Facebook, you just missed this. Tune into the rest of the fucking card. So you definitely see a lot more push for them, to get people on board to watch this fight. And I think this is a card that, if you're not into it, go back and watch some footage on these guys and rethink your life. Because it's going to be a good card to watch, man. I think it's going to be one of them underrated cards.
Well, hopefully we have you on sometime next week. We'll be like, this was fucking amazing, and oh shit, you won so much money. But thanks for your little bits. I appreciate you coming on. It was pretty much very short notice. It's kind of strange because the guy with the loudmouth MMA, he's kind of been the guy to introduce me to you, to MMA Takeover, and it was like, okay, crazy, because I literally sent him I sent out a Twitter, I think it was a month ago, saying, look, I've looking to get into MMA podcasts, looking to do one a day, and then he liked it. I was like, okay, I'll follow him. And he's like, dude, I know so many guys who'd be willing to do it, and I'm going to be brutally honest here. And Kocosports listeners are probably both, they pro wrestling and mixed martial arts fans, but mixed martial arts fans that I've encountered, I prefer over pro wrestling fans by a country mile. But like, if I had a random, like, to get you on the show, I said, do you want to come on? You're like, sure. With these other podcasts, if I try to get them, I'm like, dude, I'm offering you a chance to, promote yourself. We got 7,000+ subs. They're like, oh, that don't mean nothing. It's like, but dude, I'm giving you the opportunity to come on, promote, and look, if it's all about you, I'll come on yours as well. A little give forgive. I'll be no, blocked. Like, literally, some guy, it was about a year ago, he said, oh, can I come on the show? I was like, right, this is Kocosports. Either you have previous content to show me so I can see that you're a podcaster and you can talk and you can do everything right. Because it's that all well fun. It's not just a YouTube channel. Kocosports is a marketing company. Like, sometimes I come on here, I call women whores in the wrestling quite a lot. I call my piss break. I actually have to be careful, and I don't show them to the actual boss, Jerry, because I don't want him to fucking fire me. Like, it's a marketing company, and people like I was getting Chauncey Bullock is another one. You want to be on the show, buddy? Keep talking to Dave. Okay, he's the big boss, Dave Koco. Keep talking to him if you want to be on the show, pal. Because believe me, just talk to him, because I can bring on MMA guys, but wrestling is different because it's just different. Like, with MMA fans, it's like they're all very knowledgeable, just nice, fun, laid-back human beings. Wrestling fans, I don't agree with your opinion. You should have gone over. Vince screwed Brett. Like, just everyone calm down. But that's just my opinion. But back to the original story. This guy's like, oh, can I come on the show? I was like, yeah, dude, just show me like some of your previous videos, and then maybe I'll get you on for like a mini little show. Maybe like a Fave 5 something. Right. It was like, why should I? He goes, why should I have to do that? It's like, why can't I just join your team? It's like, dude, it's not as easy. Like, it took me a year and a half to join this team of like doing it quite a lot. I was like, dude, it takes quite a while, He's like, no, I just want to join and help you guys out. It's like, well, we don't really need help, We're doing daily shows. He was like, and blocked me. Legit, hand on heart, blocked me. I was like, for what? Like, I said you could come on. Like, he wanted to be on like the big Monday show. Like, on Mondays, there's Monday Night Raw. That usually does the good numbers. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, I want to be on that. It's like, but you have no experience. Show me your experience. Like, everyone I've had on for MMA, you guys all have your own podcasts. So, and then you have something to promote.
Right, yeah.
You get something out of it. Like, there's a guy, I bet you in the live comments right now, there is someone saying, where can I find you? See it. Let me get loaded up. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't have no idea why I just went on a rant about that. It just really pissed me off for some really strange reason.
I know, I get it. Now, and to touch on your point where you're looking at that, I was talking to somebody, my boy Ian Parker from Cage Hero. I was talking to him about this last week. I was just like, this is a sport where you can interview fighters, and I can't go to a football stadium and be like, hey, I'm here to interview so-and-so, then get the fuck out of here. But I can go to my, if I've made arrangement with a fighter, I can go to the gym. And I remember going to Fit NHB in Albuquerque. I was interviewing Ray Borg and Amber Brown from Invicta. And I told her, I walked in, their coach was like, oh, hey, how can I help you? I'm like, oh, I'm here to interview these two, whatever. And they're like, okay, practice on 15 minutes, just hang out. Cool. I cannot do that at Dallas Cowboy Stadium and shit. I can't go to fucking Atlanta and go do that shit. Like, this is a sport where I think the injuries are all available. Everybody's so open for the most part. I'd say like 99% of everybody. And even with fighters, media guys, I'll turn you on to some fucking people, I'll have you on my show. Who gives a fuck? Like, we're all about sharing because that's all how we grow here. And I think the sport is at that age, the media is at that age, the fans are at that age, for the most part.
Exactly. Like, for instance, if the wrestling podcast say, hey, would it be okay if I come on, like exposure to my brand? Yeah, of course. It's not. It's not like that. Whereas MMA, it's like, you come on here, you can promote your brand. At the start of the show, it was the first thing I said to you, promote where you are. Promote what you do. It's just the way it should be. But with wrestling, it's really, I think everyone thinks they're at this like mega esteemed level. Like, for instance, there's fans who like bash fans for watching certain things. And there's a company called Impact Wrestling, which has gone through loads of management changes. If you talk too positively about it, the haters will be like, oh, you're a liar, disliking the video. And then there's the people who are like, love the show to the point where they'll be like, if you say one thing negative, they'll ram it down your throat forever. Just absolutely well. Whereas MMA, everyone seems to get along. It's a chat. I feel like an adult. I feel like an adult talking to an adult. It's unbelievable. And here, look, live comments. Jacob Purcell, who is the guy with the mohawk? I want to subscribe to him. Legit, and if you don't believe me, right there, it's right there.
I believe it, man. Yeah.
What's your I've put your website nopmedia.com/lojos. I don't know if you want your YouTube in there as well.
Yeah, Loaded Joe's everything. Loaded Joe's MMA podcast on YouTube, at Loaded Joe's MMA on Twitter and Instagram, Loaded Joe's MMA podcast on Facebook. Yeah, man. Stitcher, the Loaded Joe's MMA podcast, iTunes, of course. LoadedJoe'sMMA.com. That's where we're at, man.
You're awesome. And anytime, like I said, anytime you want me on, I'll come on anytime. If there's a big wrestling star who's like CM Punk, and you want to know about CM Punk's history in pro wrestling or anything like that, I'll sure come on. And anytime you're more than welcome to come on here. We'll go one more live comment before we go off the air. Chauncey Bullock says, LK, thank you and Dave. Take much time. Ask if Dave can have a look at it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Chauncey, like you said, you sent it nicely. You weren't a douche about it. And I just said, talk to Dave. It's the best way to come on the show. Dave takes a while because he's a busy guy and owns a stupid amount of businesses. But I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate it on such kind of short notice. Ridiculously short notice. It was like 45 minutes. And I'm looking, I have about 5 people now, MMA podcasters, who I'll rotate each day. So just if I need a guy, I'll pop you.
Shoot me a message.
And if I need someone else, I'll pop him. Awesome. I'll probably be once a week sometimes. So what I'll probably do is on the Sunday, I'll be like, okay, to all 5 of you, what days can't you do? And then I'll work the schedule around so I get you guys once a week. Maybe even a specific day once a week for everyone.
Awesome, man. Yeah, just give me a rotation. Keep me in mind. Anything you need, last minute, just call me up if I'm available. Shoot me a message. We'll work some out, my man.
Awesome, definitely. It was a pleasure having you on. I appreciate you coming on. I just appreciate the MMA, community being nice to a guy who's been fucking watching for 2 months and not fucking eating me alive. Like, literally in wrestling, people brag about how long they've been watching it. No word of, like, if I brought on, say I watched wrestling for 2 months and I brought on fucking fan of 15 years, I'm talking here, son. I remember back in 1972. Like, it was just fucking relax, everyone. So wrestling fans out there watching this, go to an MMA website, look in the comments, and look how they talk to each other. Like they're humans, not sacks of shit. So with that in mind, I've now made poor Blake hate pro wrestling. So that's that. We'll be back in around about 10 to 15 minutes. Me and Mr. Boo Booms will be covering NXT and talking Impact and Pro Wrestling Noah's deal. So stick around for that. Join us live. I appreciate you coming on again, Blake. Everyone else watching in Internet Infantry, stay safe, stay well. We'll be catching your asses sometime down that line.